What's going on, guys? I'm Tyler.
Hello, I'm a Joseph Gordon-Levitt cosplayer. Today I'm here to talk about the trial of the Chicago 7. I feel like I should say it like that. Have you seen my movie Snowden? It's magical.
Snowden had its moments.
So did Inception.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm Tyler, he's Josh, and
Hi, Josh.
And we're here to let you know that the trial of the Chicago 7...
The Chicago. The trial of the Chicago 7. Remember, say it like a sandwich.
What?
I don't know, that's how I make my sandwiches. I'm like, sandwich! Chicago!
The trial of the Chicago 7 is no perfect movie, despite what Aaron Sorkin fanboys will tell you.
I had a thought, and before we jump into it, I would like to say this thought.
Go for it.
Aaron Sorkin is like Shane Black. He shouldn't direct. He should just write things.
I wholeheartedly agree on that.
And The Social Network fucking sucked. I do not like it.
Oh, really?
I put my opinion out there.
Okay.
I want to see Jesse Eisenberg shove Jolly Ranchers in Batman's mouth. It's more entertaining to my life.
Not by much.
It's watermelon.
Thank you.
No, I don't like
Look,
the I just saying that.
Here's the thing, I'm not usually an Aaron Sorkin fan just because I know a lot of people say his writing's not supposed to be realistic, it's supposed to be how you wish people would talk in real life, but that doesn't always translate well on screen depending on the performances, which is kind of why I find his dialogue a little pretentious, and the thing that really bugs me is that he usually takes real-life stories and makes them incredibly formulaic because he has his own list of character tropes that I'll get more into detail later on, but I still wanted to check this out because one of my favorite courtroom dramas of all time is A Few Good Men.
Also, there's nothing else to watch at theaters.
There were a few things.
Not much.
There are a few things.
Okay. Just checking that you went to see it for the right reasons.
Well, I mean, for starters, one of my favorite courtroom dramas is A Few Good Men, written by Aaron Sorkin, based off of his own play. And my other favorite courtroom drama, To Kill a Mockingbird, was adapted into a play by Aaron Sorkin. Dude knows how to make courtroom conversations feel very intense. And I will say this, the main reason to check out this movie is for the court scenes, because that is where the performances in this movie absolutely shine, and it helps that Sorkin, for all the things that make him pretentious, he knows how to get really good actors to recite his dialogue almost in a Tarantino way. Almost.
Also, unpredictable actors. Sacha Baron Cohen I did not see in a dramatic role. So, good for him.
Yeah.
Good for that guy. I mean...
Absolutely.
You married to Isla Fisher, you got life made.
He is?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Nice.
They're such a weird looking couple. It's one of those things I never forget. I looked it up once. And
I don't even have to see a picture.
That works. It just is. I mean...
I don't even have to see a picture. I know that's weird inherently.
It works. It must work.
But yeah, in terms of the performances, like most courtroom dramas, the best come from the lawyers. In this case, Mark Rylance as the lead defense attorney, who should have been the only defense attorney because reasons that I'll get into later. And Joseph Gordon-Levitt as the prosecutor, who is probably one of the few characters who has a beginning, middle, and end character arc.
Do you like character development? Do you like movies that tell a story? Then don't watch this one.
Anyways, you can really feel the inner conflict that both of these characters are going through. With Mark Rylance's case, he's the older, wise mentor in a Sorkin movie or show, which means that even though he respects and admires and likes all the people who are beneath him, he has to constantly tell them to shut the fuck up because they are making themselves look incredibly guilty as hell. And on top of that, he has to deal with the most oblivious and ignorant judge who is played very well by Frank Langella. He's a perfect love-to-hate character that you want to see in a movie like this.
Yeah, like Batman.
They offer absolutely no explanation whatsoever as to why Langella is a complete and utter moron, but chances are people are going to accept that because I guess they don't want explanations.
He's like an 80s bad guy. Why is he bad? We don't know. He just is.
Yeah, pretty much.
Maybe he's getting paid under the table by the government. Maybe his gerbil bit him wrong in the morning, or maybe he forgot to put on a sock. Who knows? Maybe it's all problems, but he's bad. He's real bad. And he don't like nobody. And he's willing to give you a chance. Willing to get give you a little deal if you'll just apologize to the court.
Yeah. And I think it goes without saying, Joseph Gordon-Levitt was probably the best performance in this entire movie because dude is a hardcore Republican. Mm-hmm. He hates these guys ideologically, but he's willing to admit that there really isn't much of a case against them. So through his expressions, because he's the performance that actually speaks with visuals and dialogue at the same time, that it becomes a bit of a challenge to him between judging these guys as people and judging them based on the evidence that's against them or for them. Because there are some scenes where he's really buying into his own bullshit and he's starting to genuinely believe that these guys are just as guilty as his bosses are making them out to be, especially when his bosses, and even the judge in one instance, are actually forcing this ideology on him. And what I really like is that, as opposed to an older, more conservative prosecutor and a younger, liberal defense attorney, it's actually the other way around, with Gordon-Levitt being the hardcore Republican and Mark Rylance as the radical left. You don't really see that very often in real life, let alone movies, but people tend to forget. This shit really does happen. The ideologies don't come from how old you are. It comes from the other people in your life and whether or not you choose to listen to them. And I think if this movie focused more on the ideologies and where they come from...
Sometimes I don't listen to Tyler. Sometimes I do.
Judging by how many times you've interrupted me in this video.
I'm playing a character. It's a bit part.
Yeah, I know. Oh, yeah.
But I was gonna jump in here and say, yeah, the different ideologies in Joseph Gordon-Levitt. But you had beef. You had beef. I had chicken. With the rest of the Chicago 7, because they don't really do anything. What's with that?
Well, some of them do. I mean, technically, Bobby Seale was not in the Chicago 7 because he was declared a mistrial due to very, very legitimate reasons. And I have absolutely no idea if I'm saying this actor's name right. I don't know if it's Yahya Abdul-Mateen or Yahya Abdul-Mateen. I'm not entirely sure. I'm starting to wonder if in the future the opening credits are going to have the pronunciation bars underneath the actors' names.
You could just put the words that are pronounced, like right here, if I just, like...
Yeah, you know what?
You could do that. You could put the phonetic spelling there.
I very well could. In fact,
you could do.
I'm convinced opening credits are going to get more phonetic over time.
Hey, you can do that. You get all the opening credits you want, man.
Very well could. As Bobby Seale, I love the amount of passion that he brings to this performance, playing such a man who is willing to speak out any single thought in his mind whatsoever. I love how he's able to rebel against the system, no matter how many times people tell him to shut up, or in many cases assault him for speaking out, because dude went through this entire trial without a lawyer. And even though there was an opportunity to get a lawyer, that opportunity would require listening to someone who completely disagrees with you on every level and wants to make decisions for you. And he knows for a fact that he has rights, he has thoughts and feelings that need to be expressed, and he's not going to take shit from anyone even if they disagree with him slightly. And you just got to respect him as a character and as a performance for that. And I got to say, out of all the other members of the Chicago 7, Jeremy Strong as Jerry Rubin completely disappears into the role. Like, not just the costume and the makeup disguising him, because he looks absolutely nothing like that in real life, but just I just love the way that he portrays Jerry Rubin as a lovable doofus who is a lot more smart and caring than people give him credit for, especially during the riot scene where he lays his own life down due to this one stranger who's under a great deal of stress, not just from the police, but due to not really protesters, other people who are just joining in for their own self-centered reasons. And that was probably the more intense moment of the riots, because the riots, for some reason, didn't really feel all that intense. I mean, you had those gritty handheld shots of people getting assaulted and yelling at each other, and that part is brutal and unsettling, but then they splice in, like, the real-life footage as if to validate their reenactment, even though you're already reenacting, you're taking a chance on this shit, and yeah.
Like ABBA.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
But the other trial members, they're given very little to do. I almost forgot to talk about Sacha Baron Cohen, and on the one hand, this is technically his best performance in his entire career. He does handle the dramatic scenes with a great deal of respect and dignity. He's very believable in Abby Hoffman. I love the way he portrays his radical, rebellious nature while also demonstrating his more intelligent side to him. But as I told you as I walked out of the theater to see this movie, if I were to close my eyes, listen to his performance, I would say that Christopher Walken hasn't been this good in years.
Yeah, we need more Netflix. Can't do a Christopher Walken impression, neither can you, so that's the best we got.
No, but like, it just occurred to me that we've never actually heard Sacha Baron Cohen use his American accent, and not gonna lie, there might have been a good reason for not hearing that, because I mean, with Borat, he was Kazakhstan very loosely. Ricky Bobby, he was French. Great Dictator, he was
dictating, really in a spelling there.
Yeah.
The other performance, I thought that was weird. Eddie Redmayne is weird in every single movie I've ever seen the man in.
That is true, and
he's awkward in this movie.
In a Jesse Eisenberg awkward. Is it just me, or was he really trying to copy like the mannerisms and the very flat, monotone line delivery? I just sat there and I'm like, was Eisenberg not available? Like, what are you doing?
And we had this conversation. We don't like the theory of everything as much because we think anyone can play Stephen Hawking.
As unfortunate of a claim as that might sound,
I said it so they can hate me, not you.
Well, this is going on my channel, so it doesn't really matter.
They'll find me. They always do.
Yeah, but I have more to say about Eddie Redmayne as Jesse Eisenberg because it's part of one of those character tropes that I really can't stand.
Well, then say it.
But I'm a little more disappointed in the Chicago 7 that really didn't get anything to do. Like John Carroll Lynch, who I've seen in Fargo, Drew Carey Show, think he's a really good actor, and I like the character that he plays, David Dellinger, who is this pacifist. But they gave him barely anything to do. And that one scene in Corp where he does actually lash out, by the time it happens, it's so late in the movie that I stopped caring. I just had no feeling towards him whatsoever because, really, what else does he do? There are two other Trial Chicago 7 members who, their entire presence is just to say, why am I here?
It was actually the trial of Chicago 8. Tyler was in the background. Y'all just didn't notice. It was just, they gave him nothing to do. They're like, Tyler, you sit here and look beautiful, man. Drink this water. It's the 60s. You're vibing it. Good. Cool. I'm going to go now. Yeah. True story, bro. I was juror number 52. I was in the jury selection. You can find me in the back there, like when they're doing the jury selection scene. It's a deleted scene. It'll be on the Blu-ray, eventually. And I just I can't do it, and I walk out. It's my best work.
But okay, on to the things that really bugged me with this movie, namely the direction. How good is Aaron Sorkin at directing?
About as good as McG.
I'd put him like a peg above McG because he has a little bit of style. Barely.
Maybe
Barely.
like what's that guy's name? Maybe like a Brett Ratner level or like
Seriously, we're struggling to give any valid reasons as to how good the
or
direction
like
is in this
Shyamalan
movie.
After Earth direction, where it just sort of happens, and you're not upset that it exists. You're just upset that someone actually made you watch it.
Yeah, there's nothing inherently awful about the direction. It's just, it's there. It's nothing but typical shot reverse shots that, yes, give more focus to the performances and kind of stops the direction from overshadowing the acting. But there are so many times where a camera move could probably elevate this scene and make it a lot more intense.
Like, know how to make this movie better, right?
Yes, for starters, if you do a long take, because Sorkin does one or two long takes here and there, like when they're introducing members of the court. But it's a J.J. Abrams type of long take where as soon as something really, really investing happens, it cuts away and then starts using standard coverage from there on in. Which I find very strange because West Wing had a lot of long takes where it was just characters talking from beginning to end, and you could do a Spielberg one where they would break the one take down into multiple different looking takes, and it would still be really riveting. It would still focus mainly on the actors. Danny Boyle did that in Steve Jobs, and everyone gave the credit to Sorkin just because it happened on West Wing all the time, which was absolute bullshit. I really didn't understand that.
I have watched West Wing. I thought it was all right. The writing was good. At the end of the day, Sorkin is a writer. It's written, but you need a director to direct the movie to work with the writer.
And the interesting thing is, when this project was originally announced, it was supposed to be Spielberg directing this.
Well, then we might have got The Post. Remember that, guys?
Hey, The Post was fine. And
it was
plus,
better than this. I will give it...
Yeah, and you know what? Like, out of all the things Spielberg hasn't made, courtroom drama and musical, those are probably the only things.
I thought Spielberg was working on West Side Story.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
And, like, West Side Story technically hasn't come out yet.
Well, Spielberg might remake A Few Good Men. Just wait around.
No, I don't want that to happen. Rob Reiner had a visual style to it. He made standard coverage look good by using close-ups in full dramatic effect, especially through the climax between Tom Cruise and Jack Nicholson. It wasn't just investing because the performances were that good. It was investing because the shot sizes let us know how important these conversations were and how high the stakes were in regards to the case. You barely get that in anything like this movie. In fact, I dare say the most interesting thing about the shot sizes is that they're almost exclusively in wides. Which rarely ever makes anything seem intense.
There's a few ways to tell a story. What he did is he used the camera to show us what's happening. But the camera is a character. And you have to treat the camera movement to tell the story so that your story pops off the screen. Otherwise, well, yeah, you just make YouTube videos like us.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. And it just goes to show, to me anyways, that Sorkin has really learned nothing about directing since Molly's Game, which...
Tell you the truth, I enjoyed that.
Tell you the truth, I haven't seen Molly's Game just because the real life story I didn't think was super interesting. I mean, I'm kind of sort of into poker. I like to play cards, but I didn't really find anything all that shady about the premise.
The color correction on that movie was crazy. It's like a purple-orange vibe going on in every shot with the lights and such. Everything's dimly lit. You expect like a dimly lit like green pool of poker room, but they're like, nah, we could go orange and purple, which works effectively. I watched that movie. I didn't mind it. I liked it. I think that's probably my favorite Sorkin movie if I had to pick one.
Really?
Yeah.
I was gonna say Steve Jobs because I really did like Michael Fassbender as Steve Jobs. Seth Rogen gives one of his better dramatic performances as Steve Wozniak. Jeff Daniels as the old wise mentor who respects and likes everybody but tells them to shut up is really good, which that's my biggest problem with this movie. As I said before, Aaron Sorkin loves to take real-life stories and make them seem formulaic, like they're the exact same. And I'm going to lay out a few examples just to prove my point.
Example 1.
Eddie Redmayne is the lead character who alienates everyone around him, even when they agree with him, by claiming what a genius he is, when really he's actually just kind of a jackass.
Example 2.
Well, I was going to provide examples, but...
Example 1, 2.
Yeah.
Numbering is gone out the window.
Pretty much.
We were going to number. We pre-planned this number.
Look, we're so disjointed because of how bad this movie is, in case it wasn't clear enough.
The timeline is a mess.
But yeah, like, lead character who alienates everyone by being a self-proclaimed genius. Jesse Eisenberg did that in The Social Network. Michael Fassbender did that in Steve Jobs. Jeff Daniels did that all the time in the newsroom.
And Aaron Sorkin did that in real life.
Absolutely. I like that.
It's true.
Okay, number 2. We have the secondary lead character who isn't really as smart as the main character, but always has to provide proof that he does know a little bit about something, which leads to a pissing contest, and in some cases a physical confrontation between the two. You had Andrew Garfield doing that in The Social Network. You had Seth Rogen doing that in Steve Jobs. You had Emily Mortimer doing that in The Newsroom. You kind of sort of had Rooney Mara doing that in The Social Network too, because she's the girlfriend that Jesse Eisenberg is trying to impress, but she is emotionally smarter than him, which just makes him jealous all the time, and that part was kind of interesting when they expanded upon it. And example 3, as I've constantly pointed out throughout this entire video, the older wise mentor who... whatever. The older, wise mentor who constantly has to tell people that he respects, admires, and likes to shut the hell up because they are making themselves look like idiots. You had all the lawyers do that in The Social Network who were so indistinguishable that I don't think they ever had names. You had, let me see, you had Jeff Daniels in Steve Jobs doing that. You had Sam Waterston doing that to Jeff Daniels in the newsroom. You have Mark Rylance doing that to everyone
You
in
had
this
the king
movie.
from Shrek 2 doing that to Shrek.
That doesn't count.
Yeah, I feel he wrote that movie.
And look, if you guys like these formulas, if you like those character tropes, good for you. There have been plenty of times in the past where I have enjoyed it from Sorkin movies, but that was just because the performances and the direction were actually up to par with everything else, especially with the writing and the dialogue. The performances in this movie are good on their own, and there are a couple that I would consider Oscar contenders, namely Joseph Gordon-Levitt and maybe Jeremy Strong supporting
there's
actor
not much
wise.
out this year, so yeah, I agree.
But the performances themselves just aren't good enough to save how pretentious and not really... Some people are going to say, and some people have said, that this is examining how history hasn't really changed all that much, and that the higher-ups are still oppressing everyone's rights and freedom of speech and everything that everyone disagrees upon, but it's not an examination. It's just a reenactment. Just because you're reenacting stuff doesn't automatically mean you're delving deep into the subject matter. And let me remind you, just because you are a liberal rebelling against conservatives doesn't automatically mean that you are just as likely to exclude and cancel people from your life just based on predetermined opinions that don't agree with yours.
Maybe the cinematography was done in such a way, since the world has not changed and it's unmoving, they didn't move the camera because they wanted to give you a feel of how it would feel to be like that. That made more sense in my brain, but I'm going to go with it.
Yeah, so I don't really recommend checking out Trial of Chicago 7, but the majority of you watching this video probably disagree with me either way, so
I don't.
I have absolutely no idea how much this video is going to mean to you guys, but for all those reasons...
It means a lot to me. I got to wear these awesome glasses.
You did,
Yeah.
and you actually do kind of have that Joseph Gordon-Levitt thing going on.
Yeah, that's
right
what I
now.
was going for. But like...
By wearing your
balding.
pajamas?
Well, no, this is like a shirt, too.
Yeah, whatever.
Is this your pajama shirt?
No.
Oh.
Although, well, if it's a pajama day, I might do it anyways, but we're getting really off track. I'm going to give the Trial of Chicago 7 a 2 out of 5. This just didn't do it for me, guys.
I'm going to give the Trial of the Chicago 7 a Trial of Chicago 7 out of 5. Also, remember, as the movie states, as the trailer states, if you don't disagree with us or agree with us, y'all can shut up, because opinions are allowed and you can't get mad just because we don't like something you like. That's a thing. And he doesn't want to be on trial for his thoughts.
If you like the movie,
go for you.
Fucking
I'm
respect the message that they are pressing onto you.
I'm glad you like the movie. Random viewer number 75. This is going to get 75 views today.
I doubt it.
I'm going positive here. But viewer 75, I'm glad you liked the movie. I like Sleepaway Camp. Hi, I'm Josh.
Based on how many times I've stumbled in this video, I don't think this is going to get that many. But in any case, thank you guys for watching. Thank you for joining me on this. Let me know how much you hate our opinion in the comments below.
I love to hate our opinion.
Absolutely. Be sure to stay tuned for more reviews, and be sure to like and subscribe.
Check out Really Bad TV.
While you're at it, I keep forgetting every single time. Be sure to check out Josh's channel
Really
in the
Bad
description
TV.
below. We have some very cool reaction videos, as well as some unorthodox lists coming up in the future on his channel, Sharp Edge Cinematics.
We just do whatever the hell we want. That's pretty much.
Yep.
Because opinions on the internet are not as important as you think.
Exactly. Take care, everybody. I'm totally ending it there.
Good.